Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche pregame show. The Avs are taking on the LA Kings in the last game before the All-Star break. We got the whole squad here to talk about it before we go take over Ball Arena. It's going to be a little fun. Also, this might not be live because we got to go take over Ball Arena. Sorry. Avs coming into this, they're the best home team in the NHL. They're finishing out their front half before the All-Star break a little bit earlier than most teams. Just leave it all out there? Should they take care of business tonight? Or does LA finally turn around this skid they've been on?
No, I mean, you got to body them.
Okay.
The same way that we talked about with the Caps. You got a wounded duck in town. You're well-rested. You're as healthy as you've been in ages.
True.
You have to win this game. The
I like
Winnipeg
the
Jets
take.
are not giving you any ground.
That's true.
And they've got games-in-hand advantages. You have to keep pace. You have to continue to put pressure on a hurt Jets team to win games.
So no excuses.
Yeah, your schedule is going to get a lot lighter. They're going to go through their All-Star break. The Jets are going to go through the All-Star break, get healthier. You got to do this now. This is a low-key important game.
Megan, we saw Arturi Lehkonen have immediate impact for the Avs in his first game back. Getting into this game, and obviously there's going to be an All-Star break in there, but going forward, how is the expectation that Lehkonen fits back into this lineup, especially given the LOC Colton Wood line that they just don't want to break up?
I think for now, Jared Bednar is content to roll out with Cogliano and Johansson because he liked how that looked in Lehkonen's return to game.
Yeah.
But I think you'll see his minutes increase in special teams where he's leaned on in both ways. I think he'll probably stick to the second unit as he has just because they've been having success with the top unit the way that it is. But I could see them potentially giving him added shifts up in the top six from here on. But for tonight's sake, I think they stick with that third line as it was. I think those changes are going to come in a little bit of time because that second line that is hopefully a third line one day of Colton, Wood, and O'Connor is just playing too well. And I agree with AJ. I think they need to end or go into the All-Star break on a high note and wear this game with pride. And it's a great test. The Boston game wasn't exactly what they had hoped, and LA is stacked with a lot of talent. That line by line should be a challenge for a lot of these players. So they should carry some pride then in how those matchups sort out.
Did you do that on purpose? It is Pride Night, after all. So.
Oh, gotcha.
Eric, same boat, Lehkonen, and Byram on the back end, too. How important is it to get these guys a little bit of confidence before that All-Star break, or is it okay if you get a little bit of a mental reset coming up here?
Yeah, when it comes down to those two, it's important to play the last game and this one against the Kings, and because you can get on break and say, okay, I got involved in 2 games, I'm back, and then you reset for the week, whatever it is that, they'll probably have a different All-Star break that they would have had, let's say, if they had been playing.
Sure.
I'm just assuming. Again,
less of a break and more of a keep skating.
Yeah, like find a way, and there's rules and regulations and all that stuff, but it's not important to get into it, but still find a way to maybe get on the ice or even work out in a different way than you would if you're Mikko, for example, where hey,
take the week off, bud.
You know what I mean? Like, for me, that's what I would say to them. So those guys are smart, and the training staff and the strength conditioning guy, Casey Bond and his crew will have a plan formulated for those two, especially that will probably be different than, like we just talked about, Mikko or even Kale and, the guys that are going the All-Star break will have a different one themselves. But yeah, I think it's important to get your feet wet and then just to go into the break thinking that you've been back, which is important, and then go out there and just be ready to roar when it starts again. Be fresh.
All right, let's get into the magical question. Who's going to eat? Brought to you by Circle K. I'm going to go first. I'm going to take it this time, and I'm going to say Alexander Georgiev. Put 2 good games in a row together. Actually, I don't even... Yeah, he'll start. He'll probably start. We're pre-recording this. It's not official yet. I'm assuming Georgiev is going to start, and I want to see him finish this side of the All-Star break strong. Put 2 good games together. Give yourself some confidence. Give yourself a jumping-off point for the rest of the season. And if he doesn't start, then whoever it is in net, do the same thing. As a goaltender, you have to be right mentally. I think, more than any other position in the game. So go out there and eat up those pucks. Who's next?
Also, just calm down, PHNX. Just let it go. He's in the All-Star game. Just let it go.
Honestly, Georgiev has been catching strays from a lot of different places. Even what Chaos was like chirping Badnar's quotes about Georgiev being an all-star. And I put it out there because I knew it would be controversial. So I knew
Even
what I was
CHGO
doing.
was like, oh, here's Georgiev against Peter Mrazek. And I'm like, stop it.
Please. That's disrespectful.
Sorry your fan bases don't care enough to vote in your goalie.
Yeah, that's right. It's either that or it was a rogue vote. Yeah. By non-Avs fans that were like, this would be pretty funny. And seeing how Coyotes fans have reacted, it is pretty funny. I'll give them that.
Right. Respect to Connor Ingram, but
Yeah.
respect to Alexander Georgiev, too.
No doubt. Look, he got voted in. That's how the system works. I don't know what you want.
Look, we didn't do it.
Yeah.
We were actively telling you not to vote.
For
We were
everyone.
trying to keep Avs out of this thing, man. Like, God.
Who's going to eat? Let's go with the couch first.
Cale Makar.
Okay.
He finally surpasses Tyson Barrie in the franchise leaderboard for goals scored by a defenseman, and I think that it's just the floodgates opening. I'm not saying he's going to have a multi-goal night like Nathan McKinnon, but that's had a lot of spotlight on it, McKinnon and Rantanen, and I like to see it shine a little brightly on Cale Makar before they head to the All-Star game.
I'm here for it.
I'm going to go with, well, we'll get to my keys in a second, but it's going to be a tight game, I think. A guy that makes a difference. We talked about it last game. We just talked about him. I'm going Lehkonen because I think it's an important game for him for all the reasons we just talked about. And I think he's going to thrive in that environment of structure. And, you know, I do believe the Kings will have their A game structure-wise, you know, because they are so beaten. We'll get to that in a second. But Lehkonen's my guy. Arf, arf.
AJ?
Just my old favorite here with Ross Colton.
So just put that in pen.
Arvin Peter.
Rusty.
Yeah.
Rusty.
So, despite all the struggles that the Kings have had in the last month and a half, their center depth is fantastic. So, I want to see how Ross Colton head to head. You know, it's probably not your 2C in game one of the postseason if everything goes the way that you would like for it to go, but I want to see how he matches up, and I want to see how Bednar wants to match him up against this kind of center depth. And that's your de facto second line. Right now, it is your second line. It just is. And so I'm curious to see how he spearheads that line, because I love Logan O'Connor, but he can't be like the difference between this is an effective line and this is not an effective line. He can make it better, but this is the difference maker. It needs to be the guy in the middle of the ice. It needs to be the guy that you gave $4 million to. It needs to be the guy that you made a real commitment to. You traded a high draft pick. You signed him to a 4-year deal. You gave him $4 million. You need Ross Colton. You need that consistency out of Ross Colton. Even if he's not scoring points, he is driving a line here and helping lead this line into the right part of the ice. He's done a lot of it, but I want to see it against a team in particular with good center depth. That's what I want to see. If he's going to go head-to-head against Phil Deneau, a wonderful defensive center, I want to see him do it.
I would love to see
I want to see him eat
Phil Deneau whole.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. He's the next Circle K snack, Phil Deneau.
Put him in a bag.
Deneau nuts, yes.
Put him in a bag.
Perfect. If you need to eat some Deneau nuts, make sure you get the Inner Circle app with Circle K. A bunch of amazing deals, including weekend snack deals that are perfect for a hockey game, including Fridays. So why not? Go get yourself some Circle K and enjoy this Avs game. I do want to talk about the Kings side of things, but before we do, let's get to the 3 keys of this game with Big E.
Yeah. Let's get to them. All right. Number 1, key tonight. Stomp on the beaten dog. The LA Kings are freaking beaten. There's a little bit of chaos going on in there. There's a little bit of back and forth between their coach and Dubois. Last game was a Doughty calling his team out, a little bit like Devontae's did, like, a month ago, 3 weeks ago. A lot of dissension going on right now. They were gold at the start of the year. Everything they touched was perfect. They were winning games. Right now, they can't do anything right. So they are struggling. No mercy in the National Hockey League. No mercy. When the team's down, when the dog is down, you just stomp on them. And that's what you do, you know. Take advantage of their fragile state. They're going to come out. They are a well-coached team. I know people want McClellan's head and everything, but they are well-coached when they are on target. I expect them to be on target tomorrow because it is a freaking must-win for them. It is. At some point, you have to stand up. So you want to test yourself against a hot Avalanche team. This is the perfect remedy for them to get back on track. It will be a big one. Number 2, AJ just said it. You just said it. Megan just said it. Need the 2 points. I don't care what it is. Keep the structure while pushing hard. Goaltending is going to be a big thing again. That's your dog. And special teams, as we saw last game, will be huge. But you need those 2 points. Goal was to get 4 points in the last 2 games before the break. 50% is done. Another 50% to do tonight. Number 3, nothing to save it for. So we were just talking about ice time and all that. Everything's out the window. If you got to play Nathan McKinnon 45 minutes, you play him 45 minutes. You're off for freaking whatever it is. What is it? 9 days?
8-9 days.
8-9 days.
Yeah.
You know, the break is after tonight. Play the guys that are going. If one guy's not going tonight, don't wait for him. Let him miss the bus. Let him just go. Go with the guys that have pedaled to the metal. And if it means that you're taxing a couple guys tonight, so be it. It doesn't matter. They got plenty of time to recuperate.
All right.
See if McKinnon can get to 5 goals.
Wow. In 40 minutes.
The shirt's coming off at the arena if McKinnon gets to 5 goals.
That would
I'll allow
hardly
it.
surprise
Might have to
anyone.
throw some boxers on the ice at
Yeah,
that
that's
point.
what I'm saying. You got to up the ante after yesterday.
It's going to be tough to match that level of intensity, to say the least.
You should just bring a bra or 2.
You bring a couple extras.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Well,
just in
I don't know
case.
if I should endorse this. That's hilarious. Do it.
All right, we'll see if the wife lets me steal a pair or 2.
That is expensive.
Just go to Walmart, buy some of those boxers that they have all rolled up already.
There you go.
Rolled up
The
and ready
super
to
cheap
throw,
boxers,
dude.
yeah.
Yep, they are primed for throwing onto the ice just in case. Let's get the Avs fan base was known for all the small things. Let's get it known for throwing
Underwear.
undergarments onto the ice after spectacular performances.
I love the league-wide, what's going on in Colorado reaction. Look,
I love it.
I don't know.
Sometimes when you watch special players be this special,
He's just
you
that
just
good.
all go feral at the same
there-
time.
Yeah, there's even Ross Colton. I don't know if that man has ever been not feral.
Yeah.
I still don't know how you take your underwear off, though. Unless you go in the bathroom. How does he do that? I'm baffled on that.
That
one.
look from Megan just says everything. Where she just, I was gonna talk about it last night, and I just decided I'm just gonna walk away from this. We'll just say it's a mystery.
Boy, I mean, that would be quite something to see for me to take my underwear off in the stands. Like, I don't know
Please
how I would go
don't.
about it, But whatever. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to picture this one. Maybe I'm naive. I don't know. We'll move on from that
off
thought.
the rails
Yeah,
here.
we'll move on from that thought.
LA, on paper, should be a significantly better team than they are right now. They were a significantly better team to start the season.
Mm-hmm.
Is this recoverable for them?
Yeah, they're far too talented to believe that this is headed in the direction that it has been now for, you're talking like 6 weeks.
Far too
man.
long, yeah.
But also, like we talked about this earlier in the season, that slump comes for everybody.
Yep.
It comes for everybody. You
Yep.
look at the Rangers after the Christmas break. They haven't been any good.
It's coming.
Vegas after the 11-0-1 start, basically
They've
a 500
been
team.
awful, yeah.
The slump comes for Edmonton. It just started there.
Yeah.
It comes for everybody. The Avs went through one, and you hope that 4-4-2 is the worst stretch for the Avs this year. If it's not,
Got some problems.
That's too bad.
Yep.
That won't be a fun time for us, but you hope that it is. But it comes for everybody.
Yep.
What is a hallmark of a mature and certainly a battle-tested and cup-ready team is that they pull themselves out of it. It doesn't take firing a head coach. It doesn't take making a big trade to change that momentum. You can only pull that trick once. That isn't a lever that you get to just pull multiple times. It's done.
True.
Edmonton can't go back to that well the next time they face major adversity. They have to figure it out. And what you do like about where the Avs pulled themselves out of that, and a win in this game would put them at 7 wins in this 10-game segment with 1 left to play.
Yep.
They've had...
They really like going 7-3.
Yeah, which has basically been it would be the 5th 10-game segment in which they have, 4 out of 5 in which they have 7 wins.
Yep.
So that's consistency, but that's a lot of winning. And it's a team that could find its way through adversity. And with the Kings, you're not seeing any of that. You're not seeing problem solving.
Instead, you're seeing PLD complaining.
Yeah, well, you have Pierre-Luc Dubois. I guess I forgot he goes by PL now. New city, new man, same bullshit. I guess.
LAPL.
Yeah.
Really?
So Dubois got to LA. He got everything that he wanted. He got traded to a city he wanted to play in. He got his long-term contract. He got everything that he spent his entire career up to that point whining he didn't have. And he's ghosted the Kings since then. He hadn't been nearly good enough. And so they're gonna need to figure out if that guy's for real about winning or if that guy was for real about getting paid and now he's cool. You're about to get a head coach fired. You just are.
Yep.
Do you care about that? Is that what it will take to pull them out of it? We'll see. But you're at the end of the line here. Rob Blake doesn't have very many other choices. They're up against the cap. They can't really make a big move without sending out a big guy as well. Without moving a guy that they would prefer to keep.
Yep.
They took their chance in net. It looked like it was going wonderfully for 20 games.
Right up until it wasn't. Yeah.
It has gone very poorly since. Cam Talbot hasn't won a game in weeks. Weeks. I was looking at his game log today, and I'm just looking at all the zeros. It's like the opposite of Alexander Georgiev. Just doesn't matter what happens in the game. He loses.
Yikes.
Yeah, and here's what I expect tonight, too, is go back to was it the first game of the year? I thought it was an outstanding hockey game between the Kings and the Avs, right? That was now throw out the window the second time around. It's not an excuse. We all knew the Avs were beat. I mean, it was like they were dead. It was 3-4 back to back. And we were all looking at each other here. We're like, and that's when the Kings were rolling on all cylinders, and we were like, "Oh my god!
This 4 days off.
Are you serious? This is terrible." I mean,
3 days off.
The Kings just shit kicked the Avs. Remember? I mean, and with all the they should have. You know what I mean? Now I think tomorrow is more. All right, this isn't an angry team. They need to win. None of them are playing tonight, so it's more fairly evenly played, so to speak. So I expect a big game, and we'll see. I'm a big Todd McClellan fan. We'll see. We saw Doughty come up with some pretty strong words yesterday. So I do think they have guys that care, and they have guys that have won, Stanley Cups. Kopitar's still there. Doughty's still there. And like you said, they're well constructed. Not because Blakey's my buddy, but they've done a good job, and they have on roster construction with what they had to their ability of, with the cap and everything. So we'll see what they really want to do as an organization tomorrow, as a team, how they respond to the adversity that's been thrown at them right now. So we'll see. It'll be very interesting tonight to see what happens.
Todd McClellan said that they lost their last game in idiotic ways. Drew Doughty said that there were guys that care more about their points than anything else.
There was some shit said last game.
It boiled over, and it will be interesting to see because we saw earlier in the year, it boiled over for Devon Taves, a guy who's never said anything like that. Drew Doughty talking some shit is kind of just Drew
Par
Doughty.
for the course,
yeah, Drew Doughty's whole career has been filled with moments like that.
But those type of statements can either galvanize a team or can fracture them.
And that's exactly what I was talking about with the emotional maturity earlier. we will find out a little bit of what the Kings are made of, because they either gear it up tonight against the Avs and they play a spirited competitive game. Maybe they win it, maybe they don't, but how they play will be, I think, very indicative of the response to that. Because, you know, if a guy like Dubois is truly just, I got paid, I'm good, I'm just going to show up for the next 8 years and cash my checks, he's not even gonna know Drew Doughty said that, because he will have gone home and he'll just be like, all right, cool.
And I'll say one more point. Like, if I'm Rob Blake tonight, I'm gonna say something very stupid here. Like, I don't care about the outcome. I care about how the guys respond. You're playing against a well-oiled machine. You're playing against the best player on the planet right now, which I say Cale Makar out usually, but Nate McKinnon, right? I'm just saying. So it's not important. It's how the guy, because sometimes you really have to hit that, you know, and sometimes it means that you're playing well, but you didn't get the results, but then you can go on a run afterwards. I'm hoping that's what's going to be the case tomorrow night, because you want the Avs to win. But I can see, I'm interested to see how the Kings tonight show up. And forget about the outcome for a second.
Yeah.
That's what I'm interested in.
I asked Josh Manson to revisit Devon Toews' comments, because at the time it seemed to shock media and fans alike, especially around the league. I don't think anyone on the Avs side of things was entirely shocked, though the source of the comments was a bit shocking. We know what the attitude in the Avs room is like, that supports, as Andrew Cogliano said, we're about winning after that Toronto game. We know that's what the Avs group is meant to be about. So when Devon Toews made those comments, it felt like a necessary conversation. And then it didn't age so well for everyone else around the league when other leadership on other groups took a more passive approach to their team's failures. And it seemed like it aged very well then as a result. And Josh Manson said it's all about how you respond as a team, exactly like Eric's saying. That it's not even just unique to Devon Toews or his leadership. It's just about how they're constructed as a group, that they're meant to respond to those comments in a productive way. And I think that's how, because Cogliano made similar comments too about recognizing what they are. And Toews' comments, I think, differ from Doughty's in a way. They're asking players to self-evaluate, whereas Doughty's is accusatory that players are playing selfishly. Yep. And I think there could be similarities in these two things, but it's interesting. I'm curious then, because Doughty's comments feel a bit more accusatory of selfish play, it should warrant a strong response, especially if they do have players who should be carrying themselves with pride in the LA room. I am curious, like all of you, to see then how LA responds. And on an individual level, PL, that's what he's going by these days. That matchup, if it is Johansson and PLD, that's interesting for both sides of this conversation. I think everybody's going to be watching that closely out of curiosity.
I said this a lot during the 22 run, and it's this conversation. It reminds me a lot about it. And you could talk about it, you could be about it, and the Avs have proven they are about that life.
Yep.
And this Kings group, this like rebuild, you know, we know Kopitar and Doughty, but those aren't the guys that they used to be. They need more help than they needed it back in the day.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Those guys are going to be in the Hall of Fame. They're fantastic. They're unimpeachable resumes. Who they are today, though, they need some of the help. They need some of the guys around them to step up. And now we get to find out a little bit. Do the Kings want to talk about it? Do they want to be about it? Because they were way out in front of a team like the Oilers. With the games played, games in hand, both of those teams have been on the really low end of games played. And that's all gone now. They are
in a dogfight.
They're right up at the top with everybody else. Yeah.
Very, very close to being more of the 7th seed wild card one than they are to winning that division anymore. A division that they were leading
for a good portion,
or at least were right there with Vegas for quite a while. So, do they want to talk about it? Do they want to be about it? And they're going into a barn against a team that is pretty about it.
Well, hey, Drew Doughty also gave the Avs the biggest praise I've ever heard.
Same. I love this quote.
Why do these guys have so many pretty good players?
Doughty is funny.
For a
His
guy
comments
that,
are always
for a guy
funny.
that likes to talk noise all game long, it's extremely high praise.
Yeah, I've always liked him.
All right, let's jump into my bets here. Make sure you do your betting with Bet365. First up, I got the Avs going on to cover plus 170, and then I have them taking the over as well. So I took the under the last game. I regret my decision. Every game goes to the over. I give up. You win, NHL. And then I'm taking a Mac anytime goal just for the fun of it. Why not? The dude's just on absolutely planet Mars right now, so. Just have some fun and put some
Hasn't
money on
really
that
been
guy.
good at home, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's just been okay. Just been all right on home
That's a tough
ice.
bet.
It's no big deal. You can go put your bets in with Bet365 today. Whatever you want to bet on, doesn't even have to be the hockey game. Of course, when you do bet with Bet365, make sure you sign up with a DNVR 365 code. Put in at least $10 so you can get $150 in bonus bets, and take a screenshot. Send it to promo at thednvr.com. We'll give you a coupon for a free shirt from the DNVR locker. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado, and if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. That is it for this pregame show. We are going to the arena. We're taking over. We will have a postgame show for you, but it will be a little bit delayed since, we got to come back from the arena and all of that. So we'll see you after the game, or if you're going to the game, we'll see you there.
We all silly like the mayor.